You know, when you watch a massive historic building being demolished on video?
Oh, yeah, like an implosion. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's always that, like, surreal split second before it actually falls. I mean, it stands there for decades, completely immovable.
Right.
And then a few strategic charges go off, and in about, I don't know, 3 seconds, the entire structure just dissolves into a cloud of dust.
Just completely gone.
Yeah. And if you're looking at the political landscape of Tamil Nadu right now, as of June 2026, you are staring at that exact cloud of dust.
Honestly, it's a masterclass in um, real-time structural collapse
Yeah.
and immediate reinvention, really,
Yeah.
because we're watching a 60-year-old political equilibrium just, well, vanish overnight.
Vanish, totally. So for everyone listening, welcome to the deep dive. We had the raw political briefs, the assembly floor reports, and all the insider breakdowns from the TN Metrix.
The really good stuff.
Oh, the best stuff. And our mission today is to decode exactly how a post-election ceasefire shattered in a single day. We're going to map out the brand new power dynamics that are, taking its place.
Right. And just to set the stage here, because we are dealing with some highly charged, very aggressive maneuvers from fierce competing factions today, it is worth stating our ground rules clearly up front for you all.
Definitely.
Our mission here is purely analytical. We are acting strictly as impartial observers, mapping out the mechanics and strategies exactly as they appear in the source material.
Yeah, we aren't here to endorse any political viewpoint, party, or leader. None of that.
No, not at all. We're literally just reading the chessboard.
And someone just completely flipped that chessboard over. I mean, the sheer scale of the disruption in these ground reports it's just staggering.
Oh, it's massive. We're talking about a sitting chief minister facing highly personalized, very colloquial attacks from veteran politicians.
Yeah.
We're watching a massive national party physically fracture down the middle.
Literally splitting apart.
Right. And as the dust clears, a completely unprecedented, like, three-way generational war is taking shape.
So let's get into it. The catalyst for all of this, the actual spark that set off the demolition charges, was the abrupt end of what was supposed to be a standard 6-month grace period.
Right, the honeymoon phase.
Exactly. Usually when a new government takes power, there's this unwritten rule of, like, tactical silence. The opposition gives the new administration a minute to, set up their desks, find the bathroom.
Right, let them figure out where the light switches are.
Exactly. But for Chief Minister C. Joseph Vijay and his newly formed TVK government, that breathing room just evaporated instantly. And it was all courtesy of DMK Deputy General Secretary A. Raja.
Right, because disregarding that standard tactical silence completely,
Yeah.
A. Raja held this blistering press brief at Annamalai.
Oh, it was intense.
Yeah, and he didn't just, critique the new government's early policy outlines. He launched a direct personal assault on the chief minister's political persona.
The language he used is what really stands out in the transcripts, I think.
Oh, totally.
He pointed directly to Vijay's massive, highly cinematic Thanksgiving speech in Trichy, and he openly mocked him using, like, internet slang.
Which is wild for a press brief.
Right. He literally asked, what is happening, bro?
Which, I mean, it's a brilliant, if very aggressive, tactical choice.
Yeah.
Because you have this veteran political heavyweight deliberately deploying casual, social media-friendly slang to completely undermine the gravitas of a sitting chief minister.
It's entirely tailor-made for algorithmic distribution. Like, that is a TikTok soundbite waiting to happen.
Exactly. And Raja followed up that soundbite by accusing Vijay of lacking constitutional morality.
Wow.
Yeah. He essentially asked why the chief minister is dead silent when he is sitting in the secretariat, why he's allegedly dodging the press after a high-stakes meeting with the prime minister in Delhi.
Right, the Delhi trip.
And yet he is entirely comfortable getting on a massive stage to deliver these theatrical monologues to his fan base.
So he's calling him a performer, basically.
Exactly. Raja is deliberately drawing a harsh line between the performative mechanics of a campaign, right, and the quiet, boring, constitutional grind of daily governance.
That makes a lot of sense.
He's trying to paint the TVK administration as an outfit that knows how to put on a show but just doesn't understand the assignment of actually running a state.
Okay, let's unpack this, because to understand why the DMK feels the need to attack so aggressively and so early in the term, we have to look past the fiery press conferences, right?
Absolutely.
We really need to examine the cold, hard math on the assembly floor. So walk us through the tightrope that TVK is currently balancing on.
Okay, so let's visualize the Tamil Nadu Assembly. It is a 234-member House.
Right.
To achieve an absolute standalone majority, which means you can pass budgets, enact welfare schemes, and push legislation without needing to ask anyone for permission.
Basically doing whatever you want.
Right. To do that, you need to hold 118 seats.
118. So that is the magic number for actual unhindered governance.
Precisely. Now, Vijay's TVK won 108 seats.
Okay, so they're short.
They are. I mean, make no mistake, 108 is a historic achievement for a newly minted party. It's huge.
Oh, no doubt.
But it leaves them exactly 10 seats short of absolute power. Now, they successfully passed their floor test, but only because they relied on coalition partners, specifically the Congress, to push them over that 118-seat threshold.
Right. And relying on a coalition for your daily survival means every single piece of legislation comes with, like, an extortion price tag attached by your allies.
It guarantees constant instability.
Yeah.
Because every time you want to pass a controversial budget or push a major reform, your coalition partners could just threaten to pull their support.
Give us what we want or we walk.
Exactly. If you don't concede to their specific regional or ideological demands, they walk. And it leads to paralyzed governance. You end up spending 90% of your energy negotiating just to keep the lights on, rather than actually executing your vision.
Which brings us to the most ruthless countermove in this entire political landscape.
Oh, this is fascinating.
Because TVK clearly knows they are fundamentally vulnerable, right? So, last week, 4 opposition AIA DMK MLAs suddenly resigned their seats to walk over to TVK's camp.
And the structural mechanism of how they did this is crucial to understand. Because in some democracies, you know, a politician can just cross the aisle and change their party affiliation.
Right. You just switch your name badge and you're good.
Yeah, exactly. But you cannot do that here. If they just switch sides while sitting in the assembly, they would immediately get trapped in the 10th schedule anti-defection legal loop.
Oh, so they'd be disqualified?
Instantly disqualified and tied up in endless court battles. So to bypass that legal trap, they resign natively.
Wow.
Yeah, they quit their jobs entirely, which forces immediate by-elections for those 4 specific seats.
Right. This is TVK aggressively trying to engineer their way to that magic 118 number.
Yes.
They want those 4 seats back under their own banner so they can finally cut their dependence on their coalition allies. But, I mean, this maneuver has sparked a massive ideological debate.
Oh, a huge one.
MK Stalin has absolutely slammed this, calling it horse trading at horse speed.
Yeah, that was a heavy quote.
It is, because he's essentially pointing out that TVK promised a clean, alternative brand of politics, and within a month they are poaching opposition members.
Right.
Meanwhile, TVK defenders argue this is just, quote, tactical stability. They claim you have to secure the numbers by any means necessary to prevent a paralyzed state apparatus.
Which is a fair point from a survival standpoint.
Sure, but isn't this exactly like a startup CEO who promises this highly ethical, revolutionary company culture, but the second they take the reins, they instantly resort to the exact same ruthless corporate takeover tactics as the legacy monopolies just to keep the company afloat?
That analogy hits the nail on the head.
Right.
Because you can have the most innovative, disruptive vision in the world, but if you do not have the controlling shares in the boardroom, your vision is entirely meaningless.
It's just a PDF at that point.
Exactly. TVK is realizing in real time that the mechanics of institutional power require a level of pragmatism that rarely looks good on a campaign poster. The math simply demands survival tactics.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because that exact vulnerability TVK is facing, having to play dirty legacy politics just to survive the assembly math, is exactly why the third player on our board just blew up his own career to start entirely fresh.
Yes. While everyone is focused on this 2-party chess match, an entirely separate shockwave just hit the opposition.
The nuclear detonation inside the nationalist camp.
That's exactly what it is.
Let's talk about Annamalai. So he is a former IPS officer and was the high-profile state chief for the BJP, and the ground reports show this staggering sequence of events.
It happened so fast.
So fast. He flew to Delhi, walked into a meeting with Amit Shah, and submitted his absolute resignation. He has completely walked away from the state BJP leadership.
And he's retreating into private life, right? He's not taking a sabbatical.
No.
The insider reports indicate he is heavily tipped to float a brand new secular regional party. His inner circle is reportedly dubbing this movement Dravidian 2.0.
And this move immediately triggered a massive vertical split. Like, he isn't just leaving alone, he is pulling the entire foundation out with him.
Is an exodus.
Top-tier cadres, critical wing chiefs, they're just walking out of the Lotus ecosystem instantly to follow him. The reports specifically highlight MC Munaswamy, the fisherman wing chief, joining this massive walkout.
What's fascinating here is the way the analytical community is interpreting this move, because critics are pointing to this exodus as a stark, undeniable admission that the traditional, centralized national framework fundamentally failed to gain traction in Tamil Nadu.
Why is that?
Well, this state has a very unique, deeply entrenched social justice ecosystem. The rigid structures of a massive national political machine simply could not bend enough to fit the local topography.
Got it.
It basically forced Annamalai to entirely repackage his political identity.
But hold on, though. Walking away from a massive national war chest seems like political suicide.
It's a huge gamble.
He just abandoned an institutional safety net with near unlimited resources. How is a regional startup supposed to compete with the sheer distribution power of the DMK or the incumbency of TVK without that national backing? I mean, they are massive.
It's a phenomenal risk, without question, but it is a calculated risk aimed at a very specific, underserved demographic.
Okay. Who is he targeting?
Annamalai isn't trying to win over the legacy voters who have backed the Dravidian majors for decades. He is aiming directly at a highly online, technocratic youth demographic.
Very online voters.
Exactly. These are voters who feel a fierce sense of regional pride, but they are fundamentally anti-Dravidian establishment. They actively refuse to bow to traditional family hierarchies in politics.
Right.
And crucially, they feel completely alienated by both the entrenched DMK machine and the newly minted TVK government, which they see as just playing the same old games.
So he's carving out a brand new lane. He is betting his entire career that there is a massive chunk of the electorate tired of the old duopoly, but entirely unsold on Vijay's brand of alternative politics.
Exactly. And that question you raised earlier about resources and distribution,
Yeah.
that sets up the new reality of the entire state. Annamalai's bold exit mathematically redraws the board. The era of the duopoly is over. We are now looking at a highly resourced, three-pole ecosystem.
Wow. This is the three-way generational war the sources keep pointing to. The old rule books are just gone.
They're shredded. Let's break down the core structural advantages of these three poles, because this is the battle for the next generation of Tamil Nadu. Vijay versus Udhayanidhi versus Annamalai.
Okay. Pole number one is Vijay. His core advantage is immediate executive power, right?
Yes.
He is sitting in the chief minister's chair. He controls the immediate levers of governance, the police force, the civil bureaucracy, and he has the spotlight of the entire state apparatus on him.
All right. Now, pole number two is Udhayanidhi. And this is where we need to understand what deep institutional roots actually means on the ground.
Okay.
Udhayanidhi commands the massive organizational wealth of the DMK machine. And this isn't just about money, right? It is about having a physical party office in every single ward.
Right, the real grassroots infrastructure.
Exactly. It's about generational loyalty. He has branch secretaries who can mobilize thousands of cadres with a single phone call and an entrenched logistical network that has been battle-tested over decades.
So he has the ultimate bottom-up power to counter Vijay's top-down power.
Perfectly said.
And then we have pole number three, Annamalai. He is positioning himself as the highly corporate structural disruptor, like the technocratic alternative operating completely outside the national shadow, attempting to build a modern, agile political startup that bypasses traditional ward politics using just sheer digital dominance.
Right. So it is a battle of absolute titans, three hyper-resourced, deeply ambitious factions with entirely different mechanisms of power. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, when a political landscape consolidates into a war of this magnitude, there is always collateral damage. And the metrics point to a very specific, tragic casualty in this new ecosystem.
We need to talk about Seeman and his named Tamilar Katchi party, NTK.
The contrast in the reality on the ground here is incredibly stark.
Look at the sheer effort involved here. Seeman spent over 10 years building NTK, a decade of grueling groundwork.
Yeah.
And he didn't build it with massive corporate funding or by forming convenient coalitions. He built it on raw, uncompromising ideological consistency. He built a fiercely loyal cadre, traveling village by village, year after year.
And yet, what did the assembly numbers ultimately show?
It's brutal.
It really is. The immense pressure of this new multipolar environment compressed all of that decade-long effort down to just a 4% vote share and 0 legislative seats.
10 years of bleeding for an ideology resulting in 0 representation. It's so harsh.
Analysts refer to this mechanical phenomenon as gravitational pull.
Gravitational pull, how does that work?
Well, when a political ecosystem becomes dominated by hyper-resourced corporate-style youth magnets, the independent outfits are structurally erased from the map. It isn't just that the titans have louder voices. They literally buy up all the digital ad space, they dominate the algorithmic feeds, and they monopolize the ground-level influencers.
Oh, wow. So they just drown everyone else out.
Entirely.
Yeah.
When a young voter opens their phone, they only see the big three. The oxygen is simply sucked out of the room, leaving grassroots movements completely invisible, regardless of how long they've been doing the actual groundwork.
So what does this all mean? I mean, it forces you to wonder, in modern leadership, whether you are running for office or launching a disruptive business or leading a social movement, is raw, unshakable ideological consistency fundamentally useless if you don't have the corporate-level resources and the massive distribution channels to back it up?
That's the million-dollar question.
Like, can pure ideology even survive in an ecosystem dominated by titans who control the algorithms?
It is perhaps the harshest lesson in this entire landscape. You can cultivate the most fiercely loyal ground game in the world, but if you cannot scale your distribution to meet the new digitized metrics of power, the system simply moves on without you.
Wow.
You become structurally irrelevant.
The whiplash we've seen in just the ground reports today is brutal. I mean, to recap the sheer scale of this disruption, we have a shattered 6-month ceasefire broken by a mocking "What, bro?" from a political heavyweight. We have a new chief minister frantically hunting for an absolute majority, resorting to tactical defections to hit that magic 118 number. We have a massive national party splitting down the middle, giving rise to a completely new secular regional force.
It's sort of redrawing of the map.
And we have a decade-long ideological movement getting entirely wiped off the board by the sheer algorithmic and financial dominance of these 3 new titans.
And as you navigate your own professional landscapes, realize that this is a universal lesson in disruption. It shows exactly what happens when the underlying metrics of power fundamentally change. When the threshold for success shifts, whether it is securing 118 seats in an assembly or adapting to a new technological standard in your industry, every single player is forced to evolve their approach, update their distribution models, and ruthlessly secure their position instantly.
Instantly.
Or, like Seeman's grassroots movement, they just get left behind in the dust.
It is adapt instantly or become a footnote. The old equilibrium is gone, and the new rules are still being written right now.
And there is one final, incredibly volatile variable left on the board that could collapse this entire new equation.
Oh, what is it?
Well, we know TVK is engineering these upcoming by-elections. They are banking entirely on those 4 defecting AI-ADMK MLAs winning their seats back so Vijay can bypass his coalition allies and hit that magic 118 number for standalone power.
Right.
But what if they lose?
Oh, man. The ultimate stress test.
Precisely. If the voting public rejects those 4 defectors, if they actively punish the horse trading at the ballot box, does Vijay's entire governance strategy collapse?
Does the coalition fracture?
Exactly. If that happens, right as this new, highly resourced 3-way war with Udhayanidhi and Annamalai is beginning, which of these 3 poles will break first under the pressure? It is the defining question of June 2026.
That is the calculation to keep in mind. Keep questioning the landscape around you, look for the underlying math in the systems you interact with every day, and remember, sometimes the things that look the most permanent are just waiting for the right structural shift to come crashing down. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. The dust is clearly still settling, and we will be watching exactly where the pieces fall.